Hi, welcome to our channel.
In this video, we will answer all your questions about being a teaching assistant. What does a TA mean? What are the requirements?
Other questions like how to apply for such a position, how much workload you can expect in a week, what will be your responsibilities, and how much will you get paid for this job.
If you want answers to all these questions and more, then keep on watching. But before moving forward, please subscribe to our channel if you haven't already.
As promised in our previous video named 4 types of student jobs, we are here with the detailed version of one of those types, that is teaching assistant.
Now guys, the format of this video is going to be a bit different. Instead of covering every detail point by point, we will go through the details question by question. Also, don't forget, you can read all about these on our blog, the link to which is in the description box below.
Okay, so our last blog post, it received a lot of love from you guys, and thank you so much for that. We hope that our simple infographic will help you all to easily visualize the steps to procure a student visa for the Netherlands. Alright, now let's dive into the questions.
Question 1. What is a teaching assistant?
A teaching assistant or a TA is also known as a student assistant. Now, a TA is an individual who assists his or her professor with their routine instructional responsibilities.
These responsibilities include sometimes teaching classes, managing students in the practical session, grading papers and assignments, and also doing some basic administrative tasks related to the course.
Question 2. Are there some criteria to be a teaching assistant?
Yes, there are several requirements that you need to fulfill to be eligible for this role. But the requirements vary for every university. Let us first tell you those conditions which are common everywhere.
Okay, so the first condition is you have to be enrolled in a full-time bachelor's or master's program.
Second condition, you need to have decent communication skills. This is because a huge part of your responsibility includes effective engagement with students. You need to help them at every step of the way, thus need to be able to communicate clearly is must.
Third condition, you must possess basic skills related to your course. So for example, if you are applying for a course named Data Analysis and Visualization, then you must know how to code in R and Python. You cannot be a TA for an economics course if you are an engineering student.
Fourth condition, you should not be attending that course as a student for which you will be a TA. So for example, if you want to be a TA for data analysis and visualization, then you should not be enrolled in that course as a student.
Okay, so that was our list for conditions which are common to every university. Now here comes a small list of conditions which are not same everywhere.
First uncommon condition, your grades. If you want to be a TA at Bria University, then your overall grade should be more than 8.
8 or more than that.
Yeah.
Second uncommon condition is that you have to undergo some kind of training. If you want to be a TA at my Utrecht University, then first you will have to enroll into a training course. This is because being a TA is not an easy job. It demands a lot of patience, good communication skills and critical thinking. So the Utrecht University first trains you for this role, and after that you can apply for this role.
So yeah, that was a very detailed answer to the questions. Are there some criteria to be a teaching assistant? Now moving on to the next one.
Question 3. How to apply for the role of teaching assistant?
Every university has a dedicated portal for this. On this portal, they list all the future openings. You can then visit this portal and apply for the positions where you can fit yourself.
Also, once you apply, you will be asked to upload your resume, your grades, and a short motivation letter. The assigned professor will then go through your profile and will reach out to you to schedule an interview for the job.
Question 4. When can I apply for the role of teaching assistant?
Okay, so as we told you in our earlier video named 4 types of student jobs, the university onboards TA before the course even starts.
So for the first year students, this is an issue. You cannot be a TA when you start your program. You can only apply to those courses which will be taught in the future semesters.
Also, we know what you are thinking right now. Why can't I apply before starting my course, and why can't I apply just after receiving my university acceptance letter? Well, you can't because you need a student ID and login credentials.
These credentials take a long time to get generated, and usually these are generated just before the start of your program. You cannot access any internal university portals if you do not have your student ID and login credentials with you.
Question 5. Is language a barrier for an international student?
Well, the answer is yes and no. At any Dutch university, there are some courses that are taught in Dutch. So please ensure that you are applying only for those courses which are taught in English.
But as a master's student, you also have an option to become a TA for a suitable bachelor's course taught in English. There you will face some difficulties.
Knowing the Dutch language is not a mandate here, but students in those courses are younger and not much open to speaking English. Some coursework will also be in Dutch, so you will have to heavily rely on Google Translate to get through the course.
Question 6. Do I need a work permit to be a teaching assistant?
As an international student, yes, you will need a work permit for this. But don't worry, since this is a job within your university, the work permit is not a barrier. The professors will select you because they want to. They will not reject you because the university have to file a work permit for you.
Also, in these cases, a work permit is easy to procure, so it is definitely not an issue. But take a note here, applying and receiving a permit takes time. This is another reason why international students cannot get a TA job as soon as they land here. Question 7. How much do you get paid for being a teaching assistant?
Well, here comes the most important question of them all. The salary depends on your level of education. It is different for masters and bachelor students, and needless to say, students enrolled in master programs get paid more.
So I'll tell you from my experience. At Utrecht University, the salary is 422 euros per month if you are in a bachelor program. The salary increases to 452 euros per month if you are in a bachelor program and your credits are more than 120. For master student, the salary is 492 euros per month.
This can be considered a standard rate for a TA, but this might slightly differ for every university. For example, Herschel is a TA at Utrecht Medical Center, and they pay her around 20 to 22 euros per hour.
Question 8. What are the main responsibilities of a teaching assistant?
Well, here is a list of all the tasks that are expected to be performed by a TA.
We cannot stay away from lists. First, assist the professors to create some material for the lecture. Of course, you are not expected to prepare everything for a lecture, but a part of it.
For example, if the professor decides to explain a concept using a case study, then it will be your responsibility to find and present that case study. The professor might also ask you to prepare documents that can help students understand the lecture better.
Second, you will be in charge of all the practical sessions. You will have to be present all the time and try to help the students as much as possible.
In the upcoming question, we will share some tips on how to be a good TA.
So, don't go away, hang on. Third, you will be conducting various Q&A sessions to help students clear their doubts.
Fourth, you will be assisting your professor in conducting the examination. Yes, finally you get to sit on the other end of the table.
On the day of the examination, you'll be present, of course, and you should be ready to help a student if any crisis happens.
Fifth, you will be grading the assignments and exams. But for this task, you will not be on your own. You will be doing this along with your professor and other TAs.
To grade anything, that is either an assignment or an exam, the professor will give you a guideline which you should follow to provide a fair assessment. The guideline will include pointers like give the student full marks if the answer contains certain statements, give the student half marks if the answer at least mentions some of the important details, and so on.
Question 9. Can I be a TA for more than one course?
The answer is no, of course. You cannot be a TA for more than one course in the same semester. You can, however, apply for another TA position once your current course completes.
Question 10. How can I be a good TA?
Please understand that being a teaching assistant is not an easy job and you will get a feedback or rating. Also, being a TA comes with a huge responsibility of helping students getting through the course with as much knowledge as possible.
So, here are some tips on how you can be an amazing TA.
Yes, people, another list. Tip 1. Be patient. The students will give you a hard time with all their doubts and queries, so do not get annoyed.
Do not provide an answer which lacks complete information. You are responsible for their learnings.
Tip 2. Always be prepared for the practical sessions. Be the first one to arrive in the room where the session is going to commence.
Solve all the questions by yourself before the practical starts. In this way, you will better understand a question when student asks it.
Next tip, that is our tip 3. Be professional during practical sessions, but also maintain a friendly stature. If you will be too strict or if you act condescending, the students will not approach you and in the end they will give you a very bad feedback.
But if you are too friendly, the student will not take you seriously and will again refrain from approaching you. Thus, you will get bad feedback again, so learn to draw the line between strict and friendly.
Next step, that is tip 4. While conducting a practical session, you will of course be bombarded with lots of questions from students. Of course, it is your duty to help the students, but it is also your duty to help them gain knowledge.
So, don't spoon feed them, rather guide them towards the solution. Give them hints and let them work to get the correct solution.
Good tip, right? Tip 5. Be fair while grading assignments or exams. You can get a submission by your friend or from a student with whom you had a heated argument recently, unfortunately.
Do not grade those submissions. You can ask some other TA to do this, but if you have no other option, then keep your personal feelings aside and be fair.
Tip 6. While giving any grade, high or low, always write something about it. Give a feedback. If the grade is low, then the student should know what he or she did wrong. If the grade is high, then the student should know what he or she did right.
Tip 7. Please know that every student will learn at their own pace. So be understanding. Let everyone finish at their speed and be present to help a student if he or she needs you.
Tip 8. Check your emails regularly and develop your email writing skills. It will never happen that every student will finish their work in that one practical session that you conducted.
You will receive a lot of emails from students where they will ask you for your help. So be as clear in your communication as possible. Elaborate your answers as much as possible.
Tip 9. Accept the fact that you don't know everything. There will come a time when you will be asked a question to which you do not know the answer.
It is okay to say that you will get back to the student once you have consulted the professor.
We really hope that these tips they'll help you in being the best teaching assistant ever.
If you missed any question or if you have any future video requests, then please let us know in the comment box below.
Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. You can also read all about this on our blog. So see you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.